So humbled and honored to be a part of this commencement service for some of God's greatest kids on today. We are indeed appreciative that Ms. Harris and her official staff allowed us to be a part of this event. And I want to first of all say congratulations to all the 6th grade graduates of Madison James Foster. Come on, y'all, show us some love on today. What an awesome accomplishment this is, and we certainly want to take a moment to congratulate all the parents and the guardians and the supporters of such dynamic and mental giants that we honor on today. As I pondered as what to say to encourage you as you prepare to enter into middle school, to junior high, and begin to further your education and prepare for a world you have not been in before, I was reminded of the words of a man by the name of Dr. Coburn Haskell. Dr. Coburn Haskell may not be familiar to many of us, but he was the inventor of the modern day golf ball. When Dr. Haskell invented the golf ball, it was not as we see it now in our modern day presentation. When he first of all made the golf ball, he made it a round, smooth leather out covering. But as he hit the ball, he recognized that the more dings he put in the ball, the further the ball would travel. Many of us can attest to that, and I want to encourage you even now that there will be some times in your life that you got to go through some dings. But the more dings you experience, they're not to destroy you, but they're used to develop you. And the more you go through, you learn about yourself and you learn about life, you'll go further because nothing can stop you but yourself. I think of the words of Drake when he wrote in his song, "We started from the bottom, but now we're here. We started from the bottom, but all my homies are now here." He gives us a glimpse into reality that you don't always start at the top. He wants us to understand that sometimes you have to start at the bottom, but if you start at the bottom, you have yourself some room and some place to go. You have a destiny, you have a goal, you have some ambitions, you have some desires to get there, but you cannot make it there by yourself. But you got to be careful the people you allow to go with you where you're going, because chickens never kick it with eagles. You can't allow everybody to walk with you. Everybody cannot be your friend. Everybody can't roll with you. You got to look at the world and look at life like social media. There are some folk that can be Twitter folk. They follow you without you allowing them to follow you. Some folk are just like Instagram. They're only concerned with the outside picture. You gotta let some folk be like Facebook. They only kick with you as you request them to walk inside your space. Be very careful about the people you let inside your world, because God has put so much in you, nobody can always walk with you and help you get to your destined place. I look at the word as I close, the word impossible. I see the theme of today's graduation, that the tassel is worth the hassle. And you gotta sometimes go through some difficulties and sometimes some hassles. But I look at the word impossible. The word impossible defeats its own self, because people will tell you what you cannot do. They'll tell you the neighborhood you come from where you cannot go. They'll tell you what the limited education and the limited economics you have, what you cannot have. What I've understood and found out in life, that the word impossible defeats itself, because in the word impossible, impossible, it says I'm possible. And what's impossible to other people, understand that you are possible. There's nothing too hard for you. There's nothing too hard that you cannot accomplish. There's nothing too big that you cannot obtain. If you recognize that you are possible, inside of you are a lot of possibilities. Inside you, there are no limits. The sky is the limit. As a matter of fact, you so off the chain in the place where you are right now, you want to tell some folk, take pictures of you now, but after a while, they're going to want to get your autograph, because where you are is only your starting point. The sky is the limit. Some of y'all future is so bright, put on the shades now, because the sun's about to get even brighter, because there's a lot that's in you that God's about to pull out of you. In life, there are going to be some difficulties. In life, there are going to be some questions, but the answer to the questions always lie in you. I'm reminded of one of my favorite biblical characters by the name of David. I'm a preacher, I got to go there. David is one of my favorite biblical characters, and when David comes on the scene, he's anointed to be the king, but he does not have the position of the king. But on his way to see about his brothers, he heard the people talking in the distance. So David started asking some questions. He said, who is that giant Goliath? Who is that man that talked against our God? Who is going to go out and fight against that man? David has a whole lot of questions. But then David finds out the answer to the questions were not in the people around him, not in the man that was in the valley, but the answer to the questions David had were already inside of him. He was the one to defeat the giant. He's the one to take the giant down. He's the one to that stood against them. And when you have giants that show up in your life, giants that show up in middle school, giants that show up in high school, giants that show up in college, giants that show up as you begin your own lives, remember the answer is always in you. The answer is inside you because you've been so anointed by God. Great is he that's in you than he that is in the world. Don't be disturbed. Don't be discouraged. And don't be defeated, because every impossibility, you are the answer to the question, because the future is yours. Take it by both hands. Ride it to the max, because God has greater for you than you even see in your right now present. Congratulations. Y'all be blessed. Pastor Price, love you. Grace and peace.